Hey everybody, Sammy here at SFI Sports Cards, back with another video. Today is April 25th. Let's get right into it. I just wanted to start off by saying that I collected tons and tons and tons of 1988 Topps growing up. But since there were so many of them out there wherever you went, I think I took them for granted. Now, I still have most of them in boxes today from back then. So many Hall of Famers in that set. Some decent rookies. You got Tommy Glavine, Roberto Alomar, Mark Grace in the traded sets. But I can't believe I overlooked this card design. I love cards with this team name across the top and across the bottom. I love both styles. It's a simple design, and as far as the team name across the top or bottom, it reminds me of past years like 64, 67, and 69 had them across the bottom. 71 has them across the top. I mean, look at this one. One of the greatest cards of the era. Card number 717, J Baller. This card's got everything. Love this one. But today, Rickey Henderson is in the building. I picked up this 1988 Rickey Henderson card number 60 Topps Tiffany. I got an offer on this. Swiped it up. Looks well centered. Now, you might be able to tell, I'm probably nitpicking here, but this white border does look a tad faded compared to the base 88 card, which is why it probably fell under the 8 grade, which is fine with me. Do love the gloss on these cards, if I can pick it up here. You know, when you have these in hand, it's a different experience. But, yes. Does look a little faded, but the centering's there. Corners are great. Surface is great. Now, I plan on getting the full Rickey Henderson run of Topps and Bowman Tiffany's, which might take a little bit because the older ones can be quite pricey in the condition that I want them in. But I did look at some PSA 9s and SGC 9s at the time, but the centering wasn't as good as this one. And the offer was right, so I picked it up. Now, I love Topps and Bowman Tiffany backs. The colors are bold, sharp, vibrant. People like using that word. As you can tell, a difference between the backs on the base compared to the Tiffany's. See that difference? But let's look at some stats here real quick. Now, Henderson led the league going into the 1987 season in stolen bases. What is this, 7 consecutive years? But he got hurt in 87, so he only played 95 games. Here's a trivia question. Who led the American League in stolen bases to end Henderson's run? That would be H.R. Harold Reynolds. And Henderson actually called him at the end of the year, trolling him, that he led the league with only 60 steals that year. Also, another important stat, probably the most important stat in baseball, is run production. Either scoring runs or driving them in. And as you can see, Henderson had big-time runs scored numbers. Obviously, it is a team game, so he had a lot of help from the likes of, Willie Randolph, Don Mattingly, Dave Winfield hitting in front of them. And Henderson is still the all-time leader in that category, besting Pete Rose by 50 runs, I believe. But overall, happy with this card. Maybe I'll upgrade it. But I don't see any reason to at this particular time. So glad to have this one added to the collection. But, time for a channel plug. Check out Shoebox Legends, as Shane has just picked up a gorgeous Tiffany card of his own. Also, Adam at Vintage Sanctuary, he has dipped his toe into the Tiffany pool as well. And who else? Oh, can't forget about Orlando over at A Collector's Dream. He showed off a while back some 1986 Topps traded Tiffany cards. That is an amazing video. So, if you enjoy Tiffany cards, check those channels out. Okay, next card. Here's one that many people may not have seen before, at least on YouTube. As far as 1989, this was like 1988, as many cards hit circulation, and you would have no problem finding your favorites from that year. However, I saw a card from OPG. Now, the OPG base cards, it's the same image as these Topps cards. I don't have the OPG on hand right now. But instead of the Topps, it just has the OPG there. I'm sure you are familiar with it. So it's the same image as the Topps card. But I found this hand-cut panel, and I couldn't pass this up. 1989 OPG Henderson number F, which I don't know why there's a number sign. F is not a number. But this hand-cut box panel, look at this thing. Completely different image. Glad I found this one. Only 24 cards, I believe, in that panel set. And the Henderson has only been submitted to PSA 33 times. Which, says a lot about the population of cards during that time. I'm not positive, but I don't think SGC grades these, because I couldn't find any in their database. But I got my hands on this SPA graded version. I've also seen companies like ASD, which I think is All-Star Deluxe, and ASG, which is All-Star Grading. I'm not very familiar with either of those companies, but I've seen this SPA before. Love this card. Anytime I can get a version of a card that brings, something a little different to the table, I'll check it out, and if the price is right, I'll pick it up. Glad I got this one. I really wish that where am I getting it here? I really wish Rickey had an OPC 1986 hand cut. Take a look at these cards. I'd love to pick one up someday. Look at that. Now, compared to the 86 base that you are probably more familiar with, the lighting went way off on this, but that's okay. But look at the red. Definitely a change up between this base set. So I'll be looking for those somewhere in the future. So I just wanted to show you the differences between those two. But yeah, he doesn't have one in that set. You can find cards like, the Mattingly I just showed. Reggie Jackson's got one. Wade Boggs, Dwight Gooden. But yeah, it's a very bold change between the two. So I really would like to get my hands on that 86 hand-cut box panel. I think it'd be really cool to have a version in red, and you got the, the black border here that we're so familiar with. But yes, time for another channel plug. Now, if you're into this era of cards, go check out Jason over at the Basement Card Collector. He loves his 1989 cards. So hopefully he'll enjoy this selection that I've got here. Something a little different. And also, while I was waiting for this card in the mail, I saw that Theo over at Clemente Collector was also showing off hand-cut cards. So check out his amazing pickups as well. I actually think one of the cards he showed, the Clemente, was from the same grader, SPA. But I'm not too picky when it comes to finding odd cards in holders that might not be on top of everyone's list. Everybody wants the PSAs or the SGCs or the Beckett's or CSG. But when it comes to like finding something like this, I mean, grader to me is not too important, just as long as it looks good. Now, if it's a common card, I'll probably hold out for a SGC, PSA, Beckett, CGS. But if I can find one that's not seen, every day, if the card has all the characteristics I'm looking for, the grading company is kind of secondary. But you got to look out for those that might be a little questionable as far as the card being authentic or not. But it's all about what's inside the slab, or am I right? A card can be switched over from different graders, different slabs, but the card inside is still the same, no matter if you're changing it out or not. Just something to remember. But anyway, just a couple Hendersons that I've grabbed over the last weeks, month or so. Coming up, I've got cards coming in from my New York Yankees championship pitching project I've been working on that I'll give more details on as the cards come in. Also, got some vintage cards I want to show. I don't want to make this video too long, so stay tuned. Check out some of the channels, or actually check out all the channels that I mentioned here today. If you're not already familiar with them, I'm sure most of you are. But enjoy the week. Go ahead, show some cards off. I'll be very interested in checking them out. Let me know what you're picking up. And let me know in the comments what you think about these cards. And if you're familiar with these hand-cut panels that you can buy. So, yeah, don't be afraid to leave a like if you're interested. Helps the channel a little bit. But that's it for today. We'll be talking soon, so everybody stay safe out there. Glad you could stop by just for a little bit. And, yeah, enjoy your week. Be safe, everybody.